welcome back. Thanks for watching. I need a bigger knife. So I met Joe here. This is Joe.
How's it going?
I met Joe there a year and a half ago. It was Christmas. I was around in a pal's shop and he was delivering 2 knives. And I seen him and I loved the craftsmanship of it. They're bespoke made, hand carved,
Everything done start from scratch, you know?
Yeah, so I just wanted one. So Joseph here has been very busy. He's doing your masters, is it?
Doing masters,
finishing your masters
in Limerick. You know, I done my engineering degree, mechanical degree. I finished that like 6 years ago, and just doing a masters in education at the moment. So
okay, very good. And you are teaching as well?
I am teaching, yeah. I'm
the local
teaching,
college.
Secondary school students, engineering,
right. Okay.
and a little bit of maths the odd time.
Okay, excellent.
And I do welding classes at night.
All right, excellent. So, show us the process. I'll show you guys. What we do is first we pick our soils, is it?
Yeah, I mean,
have a look at this here.
It all depends on what customer want. I mean, like I've made all different kinds of knives. I've made knives from like for tradesmen, like, you know, marking knives, for carpenters. I've made chef knives of all different descriptions. I've made meat cleavers. I've made, you know, sort of weird kind of bushcraft knives for enthusiasts of every different extraction.
Right.
Mostly what you see on the table here is the sort of the stuff that most people demand, and usually it's the sort of large bushcraft knife.
Right.
The deerskin knife is very popular. I mean, there last summer, just before I was finishing, before I was going away to university, I made about 8 of these in about a month.
Okay.
Like, so they were very popular.
Yeah.
And they really are robust.
Okay.
They're small, they're compact,
yes, yeah.
but they're very, very, utilitarian. You can
yeah,
use
I
them.
like it.
They're not just a wall hanger, like, you know.
Yeah, I like that. I like that size.
Yeah,
great for intricate stuff as
people,
well.
You know, watch too many movies and they like a big Rambo style knife. But
yeah.
anyone who's ever been out in the outdoors, that's Hollywood. That's not practical.
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm saying?
I kind of like this one. I think
I
this
mean,
is the
see
one
that,
I'm going to go
like
for.
I've made this now a number of times and different sort of variations of this and sort of ones that maybe same profile but maybe an inch longer depending on what the customer wanted, or the odd time I've got rid of this sort of bulge at the end. Again, depends what the customer wants.
Yeah, okay.
And 90% of the knives that I've made, like sort of camp style knives, have been these and the bushcraft knives.
Okay.
Few Bowie knives, like people like, sort of traditional sort of Bowie knives. I have no problem making them.
Yeah.
And sort of chef knives, traditional shape chef knives, and I've made Santoku's more like a Japanese style.
Okay.
Knife, and again, depending on what the customer wants, I'll use the material that they want, depending on what kind of environment the knife is going to be used.
So that's where your knife starts out as
that. Now, like I say,
what steel is that?
When I'm not around, I've been away for a while, so it will oxidise when exposed to the environment. So I just just spray it with a bit of WD-40 or any bit of oil, just to keep the oxygen away from it. This is 01 tool steel. This is 4mm thick.
Right.
01 tool steel, carbon content, you're talking about between 0.9 to about 0.95 approximately.
That's a lot of carbon, isn't it?
That's a significant amount of carbon, and that's very, very, very good high quality material for blades.
Okay.
Multiple kinds of tooling, in the engineering industry, but we're talking about knives here specifically.
Right.
It's a material that will really hold a good edge when it's heat, but that's all dependent on the heat treatment.
Okay.
Once the heat treatment has been carried out properly, it will hold a very good edge. You'll get a hardness value of about between 57, 58, maybe 60 Rockwell, but definitely hovering around about 58 Rockwell C, and that will definitely give you a keen edge and hold a good edge.
Right. Okay. So I go right. I like this shape.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be doing a lot of battening.
Yeah.
Down and cracking mud. So I go that. So you cut that.
Yeah.
You cut out your plate.
I will then take this template right? And I'll mark out on the O1 tool steel.
Okay.
And
then
that's the bit that's a little bit laborious, sort of cutting the pattern out.
Yes.
You know, and then you have to start. You know, I'll put it onto my belt sander, onto the table on my belt sander. I have the table here with the belt sander.
Okay, there's a little table there, yeah.
The plating.
Oh, the plate, yeah.
Yeah, plating slides in here.
Okay.
I'll set this obviously to 90 degrees relative to the plating.
Yeah.
Right, and then I'll keep it on nice and slow. You know, don't overheat the material or anything like that. And then I will sand it out to the scribed line the scribed mark that I put on the material.
Right, okay.
Once that's all nice, clean and all that.
Yeah. What are you cutting that with? What are you cutting that shape out with?
Well, I'll use
the template shape.
I will use little slitting discs with a 4.5 inch grinder.
Oh right, a hand grinder would do that?
Yeah.
You cut that with a hand grinder, yeah?
I don't go through anything.
Yeah, okay.
Alright.
Okay.
And that's just to cut out the size of material, okay?
Right.
The pattern.
Okay. So then you bring it over here and you get it to the size.
I put my plating in.
Yeah.
Right, and the plating is, you know, all leveled up and all that.
Okay.
I check it with my levels, I check it with my squares, because I don't want, when I'm, you know, sanding it, I don't want the profile to be all manky if I haven't taken that first step. Okay, so that's all done first. Once that's all done,
so you have your blade ready.
Yeah,
you have everything.
If you look, the holes are already drilled in the template.
Okay,
right,
yeah.
So I don't have to go measure nothing, because I went to the trouble of doing the templates.
Okay.
So I just clamp my piece of material to the template and I drill through the holes.
Okay. And I just see in this one, right?
Yeah.
The way that's at an angle then going down.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Well, what we do is I have my little jig that I use. Just hold on a second.
No props.
Yeah. Now this is a piece of two pieces of O1 tool steel hardened.
Okay.
So when I'm putting it up against the sander belt, it doesn't destroy it. It keeps it square, right?
Okay, yeah.
And I can turn that around. They're ground on both ends, so it's flat.
Right.
I can turn that around both sides. I set out my bevel, right? I mark out my bevel on a piece of paper.
Right, okay.
Right, with a protractor. I do it the old school way. I just, you know, and then I get my angle bang on, set my bevel, and I set my bevel relative to the plating.
Okay.
I lock this in, and then I just slowly do it. And I keep dipping it in the water.
Right, keep dipping. Lots of water.
Yeah, keep it cool.
Lots of water.
Gotta keep it cool. But, like I say, I carry out all the heat treatment.
Yeah.
On the blank template. The only thing is done is, like, I've been putting these ridges in here, you know, for fire steel. Right. Or the holes. That's the only thing that I will do.
Oh, is that what the ridges are for? Yeah. Fire steel, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
That's all I will do. Yeah. First of all, I won't do any of this profile or anything like that.
Okay.
I'll heat treat it first.
Right.
Okay. Because what I have noticed, even to the, you know, the smallest little bit off that profile is relative to that side, if I put it into the oil and not moving it about, putting the blade down first, it can bend preferential to one side rather than the other. Okay. If that profile is off, so I keep it at a template, put it in, blade side down. Do not, you see all this sort of rubbish on Forge and Fire and all that, and you get the Americans and they're sticking it in like that, and moving it all about. Nonsense. Stick it in, don't move it.
Right. Okay.
Keep it dead still. All right.
Okay.
Take it out. Right, once it's hand warm, take it out, clean all the crap off it, right, and then it's straight into tempering. Okay. Depending on the thickness of the material, and the size of the blade.
What's tempering then in the oven? Is it?
Yeah, but I use my main even heat kiln for my, you know, to bring it up to temperature.
This thing here.
For the O1 tool steel.
Right.
I done a number of different samples over the last few years.
Okay.
And what I used was, I found that if you heat the sample up over 2 hours,
right,
to 805 degrees,
right,
and then quench it at 200, or quench it, and then temper it at 200 degrees for an hour,
right,
and then I done the hardness test on them, and I done the sample at 800 degrees, 805 degrees, and 810 degrees.
Right. Okay.
I went up and then I have friends in IT Tallow where I done my degree. I used a Rockwell hardness tester. Just to, I didn't want to just go assume that it was okay.
Yeah.
And what I got was hovering around 58 Rockwell C.
So that
was
58 Rockwell.
Right.
So yeah.
Now the
It sounds like a band to me.
yeah,
you know?
Rockwell is just a hardness scale.
Oh right, okay. It's a
right.
hardness scale. And so you've got your knife there. You've sanded it. You've tapered it down. Then
yeah.
So you've tapered it down. Then you all these are various grindstones. Then
And then once I have everything done, bar the handle scales or the bolts or anything like that, then I will put it on here to put my edge on.
Okay, so is that the last thing to go in? It goes in there to be...
It goes in there to be brought up to its what's called the recrystallization temperature or the austenizing temperature.
Okay.
Right?
And
once you do that, you take it out. It's held for a certain amount of time, depending on the thickness of the material. Okay. That's called soaking time, yeah?
Okay, excellent.
You take it out, you quench it, keeping the blade still, the cutting side down. That's where you quench it, okay? Once you've done that, take it out, you clean it, it's hand warm, you stick it into the oven.
Right.
Like my ma's oven.
Oh, your mum's oven, right?
Yeah, she doesn't know.
Okay.
200 degrees, no, I do it about 2 o'clock in the morning.
Right, okay.
200 degrees for 1 hour. If it was a bigger, thicker section, might go 300 degrees for an hour.
And do you have to leave, you can't start a knife and finish it all in one day. Do you have to leave it
I can.
to set, or is there...
No, but I can, but it would literally be a 24-hour job.
24-hour job.
Start because the amount of work that goes into it.
Yes, yeah.
The sanding, the polishing, the making the handles, the gluing the handles. Oh, it all takes time.
Of course.
Certain aspects of it you can't rush no matter how hard
I know, and anything bespoke.
Yeah.
Anything custom, It's not, you can't do a rush job on...
No, I mean, and there's no point doing like that because you get tired, you make mistakes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I'm going to order one off you, and wherever it costs, it's less than all the knives. That, that I bought and broke, and
the thing is, people like
aren't that good. So I just want a really nice one.
Yeah, so people like buying sort of cheap knives because they're cheap, and but it's a false economy because if you buy a cheap knife, it's cheap. It hasn't cost you a lot of money,
right?
But it's not gonna do what you want it to do over a long period of time.
Okay.
You buy a proper handmade knife that's made properly.
Yeah.
If you take care of it, it will last a lifetime.
And you can initial them. I can get Wild Camp in Ireland,
on the handle
on
scales. Definitely.
Oh,
I mean,
we
can have a look at the different types of materials and woods and stuff we use.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Show me the timbers now that you're using.
Right now, I mean,
are they all hardwood? You wouldn't use pine.
No, no. One that's sort of popular. I've made a couple of knives. The one that I made for Paddy, the little deer skinning knife there.
Yeah, I think that was for his father. He bought that.
No, that was for him. I made another one for his dad.
Oh right.
And I used the same thing. I used spalted beech. Once you have it sanded,
it's lovely,
and you put a nice bit of oil, it comes up magnificent.
And what sort of oil are you putting? Linseed?
Well, I used Danish oil before, but linseed is linseed is fine. Yeah.
And see, I have linseed oil that's boiled.
Yeah,
that I use for my axe, but that's not boiled. So do you have to boil that?
Here as well, yeah. Sure,
But if it's not boiled, do you have to boil it yourself?
No, I noticed that.
Yeah, boiled oil, yeah.
Boiled oil, but I have used linseed oil, and what I would do is I'll put it in a little sauce and just put it in a pot of water, boiling water. Just bring the linseed up so it's it's more viscous and it's easier to get on. And what thing is, when it's more viscous, it'll get into the grain of the wood more efficiently. All right.
Okay, excellent.
Also, types of materials we use. Right, 01 tooled steel is the most popular, obviously, okay?
Yeah.
Other people, dependent, might want to use D2. Now, D2, this particular bit of material I got from here. Now, this is a big, massive chunk of D2, okay?
Right.
Big animal of a chunk.
Yeah.
Right, now...
And what's the properties of that? Is this stronger?
Well, stronger wouldn't be the sort of word to use. It has a higher percentage of carbon. Right, it will give you a harder blade once it's heat treated properly.
Oh, okay.
A more harder, more resilient blade.
Okay.
But 01 tooled steel, D2 tooled steel, these materials will rust.
Of course, yeah.
But if it's like anything, you have to maintain it. You have to take care of it.
Yeah, like the axe.
If you had, if you had guns and you had them out, and you weren't looking after them, you would get corrosion, oxidation on the barrel and stuff like that. You have to maintain them.
Okay, so
we've also used foils. I had a thing for a fella last year. His father had died, and he left him a lot of tools, and there was a number of foils there, and they were old foils like these Nicholson foils,
Okay.
Rolls Royce foils.
Oh, really?
And he'd asked me to make, there was 3 different types of foils, and he asked me would I make some knives for him and his brothers, so I did.
Right.
And like, it's nice to be able to take something that someone has just, you know, thrown away and
Yes,
discarded, and then take it back
And bring it
and make
back.
something functional out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And the material is top notch, you know.
Okay. So back to the timbers. That looks like mahogany, is it?
Yeah, that's a bit of mahogany. This worked out really well last year. This was sort of a friend of mine, her father, South African guy, and I made him a lovely bushcraft knife. The pictures of it are up on the Wild Camping page.
Okay, right.
And it has African blackwood scales on it, and it
Yes.
just turned out really,
Beautiful,
really well.
yeah.
And it's sort of...
That's African blackwood.
Yeah, and it goes well with... It's a hardwood, but it's not actually
nice.
really hard to work with. It's nice and it's easy enough to sand. Some
Feels
materials
hard.
are just-
It's heavy to weight.
yeah, it's
isn't
very
it? Like,
dense.
Yeah.
But it's surprising it's easy enough to sand, you know.
Okay.
We have a bit of bog oak here as well.
Bog oak. Oh,
Yeah.
I like that.
Now bog oak, you need a big chunk of it to be able to get a decent bit out of the inside of it,
I'm
because
with
the
you, yeah.
outside of it's kind of flaky.
Yes, I see. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
So you need a
if
real-
you got a big chunk of it, it'll work out perfect for you. That's most of the material, the O1, the D2 and stuff like that. This is another material I worked with last year, N690, right? CO, right? It's a type of stainless steel. It's similar to, there's a material that people use, a 400 series stainless steel people use called 440C. It's a high grade stainless steel.
Right.
This is similar, okay?
Okay.
I made a couple of knives for a chap who was working, he was at sea, and the knife, him and his son were going to be using a saltwater environment. So corrosion was the main factor.
Of course,
Anti-corrosion, you know, so
Yeah,
it had
yeah.
to be corrosion resistant.
So that's the one.
So that would be the material that I use for that. But it's a kind of laborious heat treatment process. It's not
Okay.
It's not just heat up and stick it in the oil, like, you know, it's
Yeah,
a whole
yeah.
process.
Okay.
This is what we call an air quenching steel.
Right.
Right. Not like O1 where you quench in oil. This is quenched in air. Okay.
Okay.
Just similar to the D2.
Okay.
It's an air quenching
Quenched
steel.
in air, so it's just taken
Yeah,
out.
well, we
into-
put between 2 big thick sections of aluminium, you know, of other big thick sections here. These are smaller
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
Thicker the better, okay?
Okay.
Because this is has very, very high thermal conductivity. It'll suck the heat out of anything very quickly and bring
Okay.
it down to temperature. And
Okay.
we quench it between that, blast it with cold air from the compressor. Once we've done that, we put it then into the oven to stress relieve it, and then we do the dry ice and acetone, or dry
Okay.
ice and
So yeah, so there's a lot of processing.
Yeah,
And
and
then you make the leather sheets.
yeah, then we'll depending on what the customer wants, we'll fashion some kind of a sheet for them out of leather.
Yeah. yeah.
And like the knives, I have made sort of templates for the
Oh,
sheet,
right,
so
okay.
it's a little bit
I
quicker
seen that
than
on
me
your
having
page,
to
yeah.
having to draw each one out manually, because
Course, yeah.
it's a pain in the arse, like, you know.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I seen that on your page actually.
Yeah.
You had templates. So you just cut out the templates and that, and then there's another lot of hours work in making a sheet
So
then for
that's
the
what I'm
knife.
saying, you know, when like I'd like to be able to do it for a customer as reasonable as possible, but
Yeah.
these materials cost a lot of money.
mean-
My labour, like
40 hours.
You'd never be paid. The amount of
Yeah.
hours you put into it, you'd never be paid an hourly rate for it, like.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so it's a
You
labour of
put-
love, it's
you
a
put-
hobby, and you get a couple of quid out of it.
You put a week's work into it.
You mostly
40
would,
hours, yeah.
But yeah, depending on how big the knife and depending
Yeah,
on what
yeah.
it is.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Oh, well, that's excellent. So I'm going to get a knife. I'm going to order a knife. I'm not affiliated with Joe. If you just want to order a knife off him, go ahead, guys. I'm not affiliated or anything.
Not at all.
I just wanted to get one craft. I thought it was time that I got a handcrafted one and a custom one made, and Joe was the man I come to. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah.
How long do you think?
Well, like I
Can
said,
I have it tomorrow? No.
I'll start,
take your
drawing
time.
stuff out the weekend.
Take your time,
and
yeah.
then, because I have some work to do with the leaving cert over the next week or so. So,
Okay.
as soon as that's
Yeah.
finished, then we'll be.
Yeah, there's no rush, you
Yeah.
know. So I brought my axe over. Do you want to give it a sharpen?
Yeah. Now I'd have to set up things now for that. If you want to just I'll set up a jig and then we'll try and sort out sharpening that now for you in a few minutes.
I'll film you sharpening the
yeah. Do you want to just...
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cheers. Okay. Sorry, guys. Yeah. Okay. Back now. Hang on. We'll have a look at sharpening an axe. Okay. Bye.
Just buffing up the edge here. You know, there's a couple of dents in it, so we're just re-grinding back the profile that was already on it.
Okay.
You know, we'll do both sides and then we'll just give it a go on the liner, you know.
Yeah, great job.
And we'll do the old reliable, the old hair the arm test.
Okay, right, okay.
So, that's, you know, we're just grinding back there, yes. Yeah,
oh, yeah. Oh, Jesus, yeah.
So,
she looks beautiful. She hasn't looked that good since it's been new.
Right, so we'll just continue with that on both sides and...
Okay.
You know, so just bear with me, yeah?
Cool about it.
And we'll just take it nice and slow, yeah? And see if there's any bumps, see the way you can hear?
Yeah, I've seen it.
That's those little bumps and dents out of the blade, you know? So we have to just nice and slow. Okay, because there's a couple of little, we'll just grind them dents out of it, okay?
Yeah, okay.
So, you know, take it nice and slow. So,
lovely.
So, just takes time, take a little bit of time, alright?
Yeah.
So, no point in rushing this, you know?
No.
And it's always the way, whatever way you move something, it all, you know, your handle or something always bumps into something.
Yeah. That's stones usually. Yeah. That's a great job.
Now we're coming back now to sort of through, you know. Alright.
Hang on, now just focus in on it. So like I say, we're not quite there yet, we're getting there. Jesus, that looks gorgeous. I'm going to just put a bit of... Yeah, so I'm just getting
I'm going to strap this on the ladder for you, okay?
On the ladder?
Yeah, so this will be... And this
is just... the other side is leather, sorry, I didn't realise that. I thought they were just two different grinds, level
Now numbers. The thing is, this special tarmac paste, yeah right, it's similar, it's a grinding paste you use for grinding valves, valve seats.
Okay.
It's like auto sol, polishing chrome, it's a polishing grinding paste.
Okay.
Peak will do the same thing.
And do you sharpen blades for people?
I do.
You do that, yeah.
It's normally just friends and whatever. Like, I very odd time someone asks me just to sharpen something. But,
you know,
and
but you do as a service, as a charge.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, but like primarily it's making knives. Like probably about 5% of anything I've ever done is just doing sharpening. Like, you know,
sharpening job. Yeah. So now you're strapping it on the leather. Oh God, look at that. I can't remember my axe looking that sharp. I don't even know if it was.
Like I said, I'm just following the factory grind, like what was on it, you know. So
Are they scan grind? Is that what the knives are as well?
Yeah, the bushcraft knives would be Scandi ground.
Scandi ground, okay, right.
Yeah.
And
Now,
is that a Scandinavian style?
Scandinavian style grind.
I thought that, yeah.
Now, obviously, there's varying skills at all on what is the best angle, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's within limits, you know. It's personal preference, you know. I don't want to grind the handle on your your axe here.
Yeah.
So I need it there. Right, now bear with me now and I'll clean this up.
Okay. So what do you use to clean it up?
I'll just, just an old cloth and I'll just rub it with acetone, get it, that paste and stuff off it. A little bit of acetone.
Right. I'll get mine next week. For reading.
Yeah. Clean any of the paste off the ends of it. Now.
Wow. So? Oh, holy fuck.
So.
Oh, wow.
Pretty sharp.
Wow, look at that. That is excellent. Can you see that, guys?
So, as you can imagine, it won't be breaking into my gaff.
No weapons like this close to hand. Yeah, so that's great. So, Joe,
no problem. Look forward to making a knife for anyone who wants one.
Yeah, and I'll give you a ring tomorrow. See, is it ready? Yeah.
No problem. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks everybody for watching, and I hope you found that particular video interesting. And I'll talk to you again later, very soon. I'm out on an adventure tomorrow. So back soon, everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.